Okay, so let's begin. So there were 10 points. What is the first point?
Well, I would start with a map, because for Inter3Lab, for the ArtWalk, it's very important to understand that this is something between like a movie, theater, contemporary art exhibition. The map was made by Paulina, and it is reflecting the exact space of the central Warsaw where we were working. And at the same time, the starting point was in the entrance of Passage Italia. So there was this first entry point where they were equipped with the map in English or in Polish. And they have to go to point number 1, which was made by amazing Polish-Vietnamese artist Sarah Dang, who wanted to make a project reflecting the situation on the border of Poland and Belarus. It was called Forest Ear. It was somehow embassy of the Polish-Belarusian forest, and it was also sound installation, so you could hear the sounds of the migrants, the sounds of the border police coming from that place, and you could feel a little bit what the migrants, what the refugees in this dramatic situation can feel.
Yeah, it must have been really heavy and heart-wrenching.
Number 2 was was in IMI Radio Studio, and we were doing this in a format of a very interactive way, because they were asked to go on air and to read a letter from M.
Piszę do was z Podlasia, ze wsi Podłożony niedaleko Puścice.
What was the reactions that were gotten from the audience from this point?
There was no one who refused. This letter is moving itself, and when you have a situation when you have to read it on air and to be live with it, I think it's kind of it's hard experience. All those voices are now saved, and every hour in IMI Radio you have it broadcasted. Okay,
so point 3 was a poetry jukebox.
Yeah, so after climbing, or rather using elevator to get to IMI Radio here, people were going back to Inside Pub. Everybody was asked to go to the bartender, draw a piece of paper with a word and with the name of the song that they were later supposed to select from a jukebox, so they have to use a 1 zloty coin. And after they already did it and the music starts to play, they were approached by DJ Chaos from USA, and who's absolutely fantastic stand-up artist, and he was doing his basically poetry show, which was also very powerful. And for him, I think it was very interesting experience, because in that moment his audience was just 2 persons, so it was very direct, very intimate, and at the same time powerful. Also, the idea here was that the music and the word that was behind this music was also triggering a specific story that was behind the ideas of DJ Chaos of what to do. Basically, it was like 8 different theater shows in one spot.
So after being entertained with good poetry, what next? What was the next point?
Next thing was the people finally getting out from Passage Italia. The audience were approached by Irakli Mikiani from Tbilisi, who is a manager of one Caucasus NGO. But here he was in a role of one of the co-founders of informal initiative called Green Tbilisi. So we use the format that every 20 minutes there's 2 new person coming, and all the audience were contributing to change the space, each of the team planting 1 plant. So in total we got dozens of plants planted and a small garden created.
Wow, that's so cool. It's more of environmental conservation as well. So moving on from Green Tbilisi, we are walking through...
Yes, we need to go to Nowy Świat and then to cross the Gol roundabout and going a little bit following Aleje Jerozolimskie, turning right, and after communistic headquarters building, there is a space which is Oligocene water intake. And it is a very special place. It's like a box with half of the walls are like a glass. It was an art intervention. There was a point or the small office of a Belarusian artist, Andrzej Karp, who was introducing people to his experiments with sound based on a water source also that was there.
Instrument elektroniczny, który ma już prawie 100 lat.
Jak to działa?
Tu jest w środku generator fal elektromagnetycznych i naokoło tej anteny generuje się takie pole elektromagnetyczne i ono reaguje po prostu na potencjał, bo człowiek dobrze prowadzi, wiesz, electricity, normalnie, prąd. I dlatego to reaguje na to. Na przykład jakiś metal, łyżkę podniesiesz, też będzie reagował.
People had a lot of fun with doing this, so this is it. And also Andre was, I think, very much inspired by this experience, and he was really happy, and he wanted to start immediately new projects after that.
That's really cool. Because I'm imagine if you're walking and just minding your business, going to get some water, and then you find this, instrument, the theremin, and you find Andrik there, and you start making all these sounds. It must have blown a lot of people's minds to be able to experience that. So after that, we walk to Mountain Minorities Road. What is that? Slavs and Tatars.
We prepared a special sign that was a sign of the Mountain Minorities Road. It's a concept made by Slavs and Tatars, but it's reflecting the road that is very important for us, which is a road to one Caucasus festival, to small village of Tserakvi, where every village is a different ethnic group, different religion, or even different alphabet. And that's why we decided that we want to name this road after Slavs and Tatars' work. And what is important, we have handed over the sign to Georgia, so it can be installed on this road.
Wow. So after the Mountain Minorities Road, where do we head next?
Well, now we went to next to the Museum of Earth and turning right to a famous first musical theater, I think, in Poland, at least from the recent times, to Teatr Buffo, where in a Buffo cafe restaurant, in a specific place, there was amazing artist from Kenya, a movie director, and I think we can ask you now to say about what was your point there.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite points, but I think I'm very biased by saying that. So it was about a movie, so we had to come up with a creative title for it. So it's called Once Upon a Time. Give the participants the scripts, they read it for a few minutes, and then they get to perform it. Afterwards, they watch the original film, and then they tell us what they think of the film, of the script, and of the whole experience. Yeah. Of course, they did not know that that is what they would, be doing before they came. And so they were very, very shocked by what they saw was the ending of the film. And it was really fun. For me, it was very, very fun.
What do you want? I don't know. How about kids?
We just met.
Yeah, but life is short.
Hi, hurry up!
Maybe somewhere else another time. Okay.
So after crying or laughing from my spot, they went on to a very interesting spot about literature. Could you please tell us more?
The next point was literaturnik in czytelnik. So in this cafe, in the specific important place for the Polish and Warsaw history, the young poets from Belarus, from Russia, from Lithuania, they were reading poems to the audience, but with the challenge of what you would understand from the sound of the language. Of course, sometimes they are similar words, and sometimes you can maybe get something more. But it was very interesting because some people were really reading emotions or reading even the real stories, and some of the people were completely reading some other stories, but still they were very interesting, and they were also inspirational for our poets.
The power of interpretation. Okay, so after all that, we go ahead and we drink something.
Yeah, that's, I think, even the audience now watching this short video about the ArtWalk, they would like to probably, after so many points, to relax. So that point number 9 was a drink for freedom made by Misha Aslikian.
So we meet people here on this spot, which shows the price of freedom during this art walk, and we are drinking a drop of wine for freedom, and we're writing our wish, like our very important thing, our very important word for freedom, which is connected to freedom, and we drink that. And this is like a wish, this is like a toast which comes very deep from Georgia, and this is very traditional thing that we are starting everything, every work with a drop of wine. So I want to have this drop of freedom here, which will start from here and which will like spread as a pandemic in the world about freedom.
Okay, so now we have toasted for freedom, and we go on to make something very interesting at the end of the artwork.
Elsa Ferreira Neto, manager of our partner NGO from Portugal, she was telling her story about finding herself in a time of the biggest economical crisis in Portugal to search for a new ways also of income and slowing down, observing the nature, observing the surrounding, and finding the way to use the local resources wisely.
Yeah.
And she started to do the soap factory made of the milk of the goats. And by telling the story, she was also inviting the audience to create their own soap, however they would like to do it. So they could, compose it from different elements that they were possible to use. And it was kind of a nice souvenir also for the audience, just to have something, a part of the map, which is always great artifact of the artworks, to have something to take home and to use it later.